coming through for the other one. I'll wait for that. Sorry for those that are on Twitch. Please wait. Okay, there we go. Because I'm streaming to both Twitch and YouTube. So apologies on that part. Welcome to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I have a tendency to just live stream about anything and everything. One of the things is basically today it's a different story where it's not anything and everything. It's just in the past 2 weeks I've test driven basically about 5 vehicles, EV vehicles. Not the popular vehicles, but some really interesting vehicles. One of them, as you see here, basically is the Lucid Air. Not the Lucid Air Pure, just the Lucid Air. It's one of their base models, lower end models, I would say, or the cheaper one, basically. Lucid Air, unfortunately, does not have, right now at this point, the SUV that's coming out next year. But put it this way, driving the Lucid Air, it was pretty impressive. I was like really impressed about it. How so is the fact is one, it's got a nice little dashboard. Even it's the lower end model, it's got a little nice dashboard. So compared to the Model 3 for Tesla, Model 3 Tesla, all it really has is just one pad and that's it. Everything else is it. That's it. There's nothing else with the Tesla 3. The 3 just has like kind of like an iPad. That's all it really is. It's almost like a tablet on the side. No dashboard, so like you don't really know how fast you're going. You have to look to the side, basically. You have to look directly diagonal to the side, basically, and see all that stuff. So with the Lucid Air, at least, that's one of the nice things about it. It has a dashboard. It sees everything. It's also touchscreen to the point where like it extends out. So if you've seen some of the newer vehicles that are coming out lately, you know, where their dashboards are like extended out and like long, that's nice. But then there's also a little tablet on the side. I wish I could show you pictures of it, where you can see it essentially. And it's one of those nice things where it's very useful as well too. And I kind of liked it. One of the interesting things about this Lucid Air as well too is it has regenerative brakes. So that's really nice about it, the regenerative brakes. But it also has the option to basically disable the regenerative brakes as well too. That was one nice feature. Why? So put it this way. Regenerative brakes in this situation for EV vehicles is basically when you let your foot off the gas pedal, the car starts braking automatically, meaning you're not braking entirely. It's starting to brake on your own. So if you're on the highway and you decide to like sometimes just take your foot off the pedal, it will start, braking off. And that's why you see sometimes Teslas, when they're a lot of the times braking, when in reality they're just doing regenerative braking. You see their brake lights and you're like wondering what's going on. That's like there's no one in front of them and then they're braking because sometimes they're just taking their foot off the pedal. And that's when I realized. So that's one of the nice features about the Lucid Air, or Lucid itself basically, is you have the ability to disable regenerative braking. Now granted, by reducing regenerative braking or turning it off, you decrease the battery life and also the brake quality or brake wear and lifetime of it basically lifetime, I guess you could call it basically, because it's one of those things where with the regenerative brakes, what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to help out in the long term for the brakes themselves and make them last longer. And also at the same time, the battery at least. So put it this way, I forgot what the exact specs are. You can look online. With the specs, what it does is the brakes, when you use the regenerative brakes, let's say the car is maxed out for a full charge 331 miles or 330 miles. With the regenerative brakes, that's regenerative braking on. If let's say you were to turn off regenerative braking, it could go from 330 miles down to let's say 310 to maybe 315, 300 miles per, 300 miles overall. And that's one of the things that regenerative braking does. So that's I think that's one of the features where you have the option of turning it on or off basically, as well as controlling the steering wheel, meaning like, the firmness of the steering wheel. Like you could have it really firm where like it adjusts where as you're driving, if you like make a small movement, the car moves. If you wanted to where you could just go like this and still stay at the same location, that's that option as well too. So basically it's the firmness, as you would call it, for the steering wheel. And then of course the software itself, it's pretty interesting. It's pretty nice. It's not bad. It utilizes a lot of stuff like Google Maps and such, and some of the main apps out there at that point as well. They pretty much copied Tesla in this situation, which brings me on to the Tesla Y. Didn't test out the Tesla 3 because I saw it was small. We figured let's test out the Y. Tested out the Y. I'll say I was impressed. I was impressed. It was still bare minimum. It was like no dashboard, so it was very weird to the point where like you just have the little iPad and that's it. That's all you have there. There's nothing else on the dashboard, and you're wondering, like, what's the purpose of this? But that's what it was, and so it was interesting to see drive it. But the thing is I think Musk and them are following the model of Steve Jobs of saying it's like, what, the consumer doesn't know what they want. We'll give it to them basically. So basically what they're saying is like, what, they have regenerative braking on basically to the point where like they want to maximize the mileage out of the car. So as a driver, you won't be able to like turn off regenerative braking. In the past, I think they had it, but now in this case, they turned it, like they make it on default, and you can't turn it off. So you have regenerative braking on. So your foot always has to be on the gas pedal, accelerating, and that's one of the sucky things about it. But outside of that, it was a smooth ride, quite honestly, with the Tesla Y. The Tesla S, of course, and the X, I never got a chance to drive the X, but it was really spacious and sort of semi-futuristic, I would say. So that was one of the nice things about it. So I kind of enjoyed that. Quite honestly. What else can I say about the Y? It had nice trunk space, put it that way. And they say it's a 7-seater, like you could have a 7-seater or 6-seater, depending on what you call it. But in reality, what it is it's just 2 seats way in the back. It's really meant for like toddlers more than anything else, because there's not a lot of leg space back there. I'm a tall individual. There's no way I would be able to sit back there at that point. So more than anything, it's really for toddlers, and it's not long-term type of thing. If it's a long-term type of thing, you might as well get a minivan. I know people hate that word minivan, but you might as well get a minivan if you have a large family. This is not meant for a large family. This is meant for a small family, a family of 4, basically. If it's a family of 6, yeah, this is not your vehicle, quite honestly. The Y might be, the X might be, the Y is definitely not. But it also depends on what X version you get as well, too, because the X version has a 6-seater and a 7-seater. And of course, the frunk, which is the front trunk, it's not as big as you would think it would be. Similar to, actually, it's a little bigger compared to all the others out there. Same thing with the Lucid. The Lucid has a nice frunk space. It would be interesting to see how the Lucid Galaxy comes out and see what the frunk space is, and as far as what the space, how spacious it is inside. And I will say this, with the Lucid Air, it was very spacious. I was sitting in the back and it was very spacious. I had lots of legroom, quite honestly. I was like really surprised how much legroom I had in there. With the Tesla Y, there was some leg space, but it's normal for kind of I want to say a crossover SUV more than anything else. So that was one of the interesting about it for that. Now, another EV vehicle that I tested out as well too was the Polestar. Now, the Polestar, I didn't realize who it was, but apparently Polestar is basically Volvo. It's a derivative of Volvo, or a subsidiary of Volvo. So basically, they make the engines for Volvo anyways, for the hybrid vehicles anyways. So that's why you'd have Volvo made by Polestar or powered by Polestar, whatever it is. So Polestar basically is one of those things where it's a nice EV vehicle. It has the same model as, not the model, but as far as when it comes to regenerative braking, similar to the Lucid, basically, where you have the option to turn off regenerative braking. Of course, they don't recommend it, but they give you that option. It did have a nice dashboard. And one of the other things is, beside with the Y, X, S, as well as a Lucid, what you would call the gear shift, it's not your normal gear shift on the side. It's like on the side of the steering wheel. So if you remember the old school steering wheels, basically, you had to shift it up and down like the cars in the 80s and 70s. It's pretty much like that in a way. And it kind of makes sense from that perspective. So that's one of the nice things about this. Whereas this one, the Polestar, if you're not used to that and you're used to having this shift towards your right hand side near your lap or near your legs, Polestar works. But I can say this though. With the Polestar, because safety is more important to them than anything else, because they are Volvo brand essentially. The Polestar, the frunk space is not that much, because what they do is basically they have the frunk space about, I would say maybe about a quarter, or a quart, whatever you want to call it. I don't know how you mention it in the size, but the dimensions aren't that big. But it's got so much, I guess, what you would call plating in between the driver and there, that if the thing got into a crash, at least there's protection there. So to the point of like with the frunk space, the more empty space, the more easy it is to compact, the more likelihood that you're gonna get more injured. The driver and passenger is gonna get injured. So that was one of the things. What they did was like they made sure that front space was a little smaller, but you have a lot of room, and not a lot of room, but a lot of what you would call a safety net, basically, in that situation. The drive wasn't bad. I'll say that. The steering wheel was the same. You had the ability to kind of control the firmness of the steering wheel. Like if you want to steer, the moment you turn the steering wheel, do you want it to immediately turn, or do you want it to basically do a full turn, basically, for it to turn out, with that motion at that point? So that was one of the interesting things about the Polestar. Now the Polestar does have an SUV, but that's coming out in late 2024, unfortunately. So it would have been great to have seen it in 2024, but we don't. So that's the sad part about it. And mind you, I'm sorry if anyone's sending a chat. I'm using Restream, so I have no idea if anyone's like sending a chat or sending something to me at this point in chat. I won't see the live chat, unfortunately. But anyways, with the Polestar, the other thing is so going back to the Lucid Air, this car actually cost about close to, I think it was $80,000 or something like that, which was pretty expensive, surprisingly enough. So with it being $80,000, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of moolah you're dropping down for that. And the Lucid Air, if it's supposed to compete with the Tesla 3, it's not. And I think even Lucid said themselves, basically, Lucid Motors is saying, basically, we're not competing with Tesla. We want to be the higher end vehicle for like the luxury vehicle, basically. Whereas the Tesla Y, it's about 57,000, I want to say, 58,000. Falls underneath definitely the federal tax incentive of under $80,000 or something like that. I will say this though, with the Tesla Y, with the price you're getting, if you're going to get a Tesla 3 and you're going to get the all-wheel drive, not the rear-wheel drive, if you're going to get the Tesla 3, you might as well just go to the Tesla Y, because it's only like a $4,000 difference or $3,000 difference between the Tesla 3 all-wheel drive to the Tesla Y, basically. So you might as well go with the Tesla Y at that point, quite honestly, if that's the case. With the Polestar, it was about the same price as the Y. But one thing, though, I will say this. With the Polestar, because it's a foreign car maker, it doesn't fall under the federal tax credits. That's the sad part. Now, they do say, basically, is like they try to get around it by saying, hey, if you lease with us, lease the vehicle, we'll gladly, kind of throw those incentives in a way. They're basically trying to get you to lease the vehicle without buying the vehicle. Because it's one of those things where at least with Lucid, well, not Lucid in this case, because the cars are over the threshold for the incentives, but any other American-made vehicles Tesla, Ford, Cadillac, any GM brands and such, where they're all EV, it would fall into that aspect. And they know that by leasing, it would be easier for them. And the other factors, they try to push the leasing because they push out to the point, they try to push out leasing because they're saying it's like, hey, look, with battery technologies getting better and better, you might as well just lease, because 3 years from now, it's probably going to be much better. You might get better mileage, which is true, because let's not, if you saw recently in the past couple of months, Toyota's come out with a new battery technology that would last on a full charge 900 miles, basically. 900 miles versus 300 to 400 miles. I would hit the Toyota basically easy peasy. But that vehicle's not out yet for the Toyota. So, but in any case, with the Polestar, the other thing is, I will say this thing in the back, there is no leg space. It was horrible. And the thing is, this is a person that was short, that was sitting in the front of the thing, and I was sitting in the back passenger, and this person was on the front passenger. This person was moved the car up so far up ahead that I still had not enough leg space. So this car is not meant for 12 people, put it that way. And I don't know why, but it's kind of like your mini SUV. It's not a crossover SUV. It's more of a mini SUV more than anything else. Now, the Cadillac Lyriq. This was an interesting car. It had the nice little dashboard. So if you've seen all the other Cadillacs, as well as other GM vehicles, and BMW as well, too, for that matter, and Mercedes, they don't have a dashboard in the middle like Tesla does, but they follow the same aspect of what the Lucid Air does. Basically, is they'll have a dashboard here, but the thing is, and it spans across a little bit. But the thing is the dashboard here it's not as big. It's touchscreen, so it's like, oh, it's not that big, honestly. And I'm not too keen on that. I would have preferred a larger touchscreen more than anything else, because why? You can look for a lot of things at this one. For this one, you got to scroll up and down and whatever it may be. And so it's one of those things where I didn't kind of enjoy that feature. I'm hoping they change it for the next version. And this is Cadillac's first venture, or GM's, not GM's, but Cadillac's first venture of a premium EV vehicle. Now, it does fall underneath, it's like $56,000. So it does fall into the threshold of the SUV category of getting the, what's that called? The tax incentive. The one nice thing about it as well too is it did have some nice leg space. I had some nice leg room in there. It was really nice. And the other factor is as well too is it basically was very quiet, very easy to drive, and it was driven at night. It had the little moonroof, but it doesn't have the moonroof that goes all the way across like the Tesla does. It just has it up to a certain point. The one thing though is with this one, it doesn't have regenerative braking. There's no regenerative braking. If there was, you would have felt it. It was more of a case where like it feels like a regular car more than anything else. And that's why I think more, this is like kind of your people that are not used to EV vehicles purely with the regenerative braking. They push them to this type of vehicle, like similar to the Chevy Bolt or Volt. I think the Bolt is now instead of the Volt. And other vehicles at that point as well. And so they were trying to push that for this vehicle basically. It wasn't bad, I would say. For the price though, I don't know if I would pay that price. And the look of the vehicle wasn't as unique. My wife wasn't too keen on it because she thought, hey, it's not that unique in design. It looked like in any other random vehicle that's out there. Whereas the Tesla and the Lucid, they have this unique style basically. The Polestar itself basically, I mean, it has kind of a unique design, but not a unique design. It kind of reminded me anyways, like of an old Dodge Charger, just expanded out a little bit. And that's why I thought this vehicle, the Lyriq, wasn't bad, but mileage-wise, it wasn't as great. And the thing is, it wasn't as superfluous to the other vehicles that I had driven at that point. Now, the Hyundai Sonic 5, the Sonic 5 that is, it's Hyundai's foray into the EV market. They already had the Kona, but it's a smaller vehicle. This one's more of a crossover vehicle more than anything else. It's not your large SUV. It had a unique design, similar to the Sonic 6. The other thing is the dashboard, pretty much the same in a ways, like the Cadillac Lyriq. The thing is also one of the other things, if you like physical buttons, this is one of those things for the physical buttons as well, for for climate control, for other stuff at that point as well too. And oh, by the way, both the Lyriq and the Sonic, they actually also use the gear shift by the steering wheel, not by the lap. So, and I'll say it wasn't bad, the Sonic 5. It was a little expensive, quite honestly. It fell into the $56,000 range, whatever, $59,000 range or something like that. The other thing is because it's a foreign car company or foreign manufacturer, it didn't fall into the tax credit. So Hyundai was also saying, it's like, hey, no, if you lease it, we'll take those credits in a ways and automatically put it into the lease. And they were trying to push the lease as well too, because the fact is that they're saying, hey, battery technology is getting better, but they want you to stay with Hyundai at that point, Hyundai for that point. The dashboard wasn't great. The dashboard wasn't bad. The thing is, with the software that was on there, it's Hyundai's own software, and I don't know if I would like that. If it was using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, it would have been great, but it wasn't as superfluous as compared to not as great as compared to Lucid's or Tesla's maps. Because one of the things is like those two actually showed you. So Lucid, so by the way, of all the vehicles, Tesla has their own charging station, and Tesla knows which charging stations are good, which charging stations are bad, for each Tesla, and like how, which ones are free, etc. Basically, similar to Lucid. Lucid does not have their own. They use Electrify or any other of the major ones out there outside of Tesla. Lucid, Polestar, Lyriq, as well the Cadillac Lyriq, as well as Sonic, the Hyundai Sonic and Sonic series. They all basically use Electrify or whatever other out there. The one thing is each one of them outside of Lucid does not tell you like the availability, if the one of the ports are bad, or if the station is bad, or whatever it may be, or if it's like open or not. That's one of the things that's missing on that port. Yeah, and whereas Tesla will tell you as well, Lucid will tell you, which is pretty nice about Lucid. That I don't know why the others couldn't take what Lucid did and say, okay, let's say an electrified gas station, we know this one's bad, this one's good, this one's a supercharger, this one's a slow charge, whatever it may be. Because when you get there, you don't know if it's a slow charge or a fast charge. If you got a slow charge, that's overnight type of thing. Unless you're planning to get a hotel there, it's not worth it. Also, the other thing is with the Hyundai as well too. There's no regenerative braking, so it's meant for sort of like a supposed starter vehicle for people that haven't driven a hybrid or EV vehicle, and to get them used to it and such until Hyundai comes out with a better one with regenerative braking in place as well too. So I don't know. I haven't done a test drive of Kia's vehicle, Volkswagen's EV vehicle, as well as Tesla, BMW, and Mercedes, and Ford for that matter as well too. Specifically the Ford Mustang E. I will be testing those out somewhere along the ways in the upcoming weeks, and I'll let you know about that as well too. I'll probably do a live stream, but eventually I'll have one video on my YouTube channel describing them all and having a little bit more metrics and a little bit more better, whatever, a little bit better and more organized, I guess you could say, with my videos. But with that, I'll leave it at that. I've live streamed for almost 20 minutes now, over 20 minutes. I try not to live stream as much or as long unless I'm watching something or there's something special going on. But with that, I'll leave it at that. For those that are on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. If you enjoy my content, enjoy my videos, and enjoy my channel, again, please subscribe. Twitch as well too. For those, I don't know how Twitch exactly works because I haven't live streamed as much on Twitch, but you are welcome to follow me in that. For those that are on YouTube, you're welcome to leave a comment in the comment section. I can't see the chats. So once the video goes offline, the live stream goes offline, it becomes an offline chat video. You're welcome to leave a chat in the comment in the comment section, and I do read my comments when I get notified about them, and I do respond to them when they warrant a response. If you want me to test out another vehicle, let me know. I gladly will go test out a vehicle and see how it is and find out the price. Because one of the things is I go to each of the dealerships and I pretty much play stupid. It's like I don't know too much about EV vehicles and such, and or regenerative braking. How does this work exactly, and whatever it may be. Telling me I don't really do my research. I'm trying to kind of curious to see how what they come back with pricing, and falling into tax incentives, or are they trying to mislead you at that point? At least with Tesla, one of the things is they said, yeah, you can't lease a vehicle and get that. You can finance it or buy it, and then you fall into the tax incentive. But they said even for them, yeah, California, the state of California, that was an incentive program that's only available when they had the funding. Now they don't have the funding, so it's not available, and that's why Tesla does not put it out there. Where other car manufacturers do that. I asked Lucid, does it fall under the California? They said we're not entirely sure. We knew on the federal side we don't fall into it, but if you lease it with us, with a special incentive in place, they'll try to get that in place for you. And I think Lucid's also trying to push people to lease their vehicles because it's kind of expensive. But if you lease it, it's one of those things where the battery technology gets much, much better. And the thing is, with leasing it, if you lease, let's say, Lucid Air Pure, you would be able to get the Lucid Galaxy when it comes out at that point. They said they would give you that incentive to go into the Galaxy, or Gravity, Lucid Gravity, with that. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section when my video goes offline. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and